So Amanda, do you have any questions for me?
I do. There was lots coming in, Sonia, and I know
that
we're stuck for time a little bit, but
that's fine.
There is questions coming in about whether or not a psycho-ed assessment is necessary in order to ensure that accommodations are available.
For a learning disability, yes, and a psychoeducational assessment is necessary and must be done within the last 3 to 5 years. So what we're looking for is for an assessment that has adult measures, that has recommendations for post-secondary. So an assessment that would have been done in primary school would not fall within that category. However, if you have an ADHD diagnosis and you ended up getting an assessment, a psychoeducational assessment to get confirmation of that ADHD diagnosis, a psych ed assessment is not needed. And we have specific ADHD forms that can be completed by a psychiatrist, medical doctor, or a psychologist. If you're receiving therapy, they can fill out that document. So that is a lot more cost effective to go that route.
Okay, so decent would, so somebody was asking about to define recent, but you're saying recent would be over the age of 16 probably, or within the last 3 to 5 years?
In the last 3 to 5 years. So okay. Recent would be, yeah. And adult measures typically are administered, can be administered at the age of 16 and above.
Amazing. Okay. Somebody asked, how does a student's double time translate to university?
So typically what we provide in terms of accommodations for extra time is between 25 to 50% extra time. So double time is not a common accommodation that we grant in university. Again, if we were to grant more extra time, then we would be looking at the diagnosis, the disability, and the functional impairments that are being documented, as well as the courses themselves in terms of the task that the student is being asked to perform and how the specific aspect of their disability or functional limitation is going to impair the completion or their performance on that particular task.
Okay, awesome. And how soon should I register with the Disabilities office?
So you can register as early as soon as you receive an offer of admission. So as soon as you're told, congratulations, you've been accepted to this institution, though certainly you can register with the Disabilities office. You will need, however, to follow up in closer to the start of September in order to set up those accommodations. So even though you're doing the legwork or you're registering, you know, in the spring or in the summer, which I think is ideal because at least you can establish kind of a rapport with your coordinator or your counselor or advisor, you'll need to meet again. So it's not just a one-time thing. If you're not sure and you're still waiting for your admission, but you're still interested in finding out about documentation requirements or what specific institutions offer in terms of disability services, schedule an information meeting.
And for the information meetings, they can be done before you get your offer of acceptance too, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So they could do it now, even if they wanted to meet with somebody.
Yeah, in February, sometimes we have a lot of students that do information meetings in March as well. So I find that's a nice way to kind of just get some questions answered, and that can be done by phone or by video conferencing, no problem.
Awesome. We have one here that says, my parents keep talking about self-advocacy at university, but I don't really know what that means. Can you talk about that?
That's a great question. That was one of my slides and I didn't have a chance to talk about it. So I'm just going to read off my slide actually. So thank you for asking that question. So what is self-advocacy? Well, self-advocacy is about understanding your disability, your learning profile, how to express it and articulate what you're good at, how your disability affects you in the learning environment. Self-advocacy is about expressing your needs in a way that promotes open communication and collaboration. So it's not just being forceful with being a self-advocate, is engaging in a conversation in order to express what you think you may need and be open to suggestions. It's also understanding your responsibility and being able to ask for help, right? So as a human being, we want to be independent. We want to do things on our own sometimes. And sometimes we feel that asking for help is a sign of weakness. And by all means, what I tell students is if asking for help is going to make your life easier, why not ask? So that's what I would say self-advocacy is.
So it's really important to kind of put yourself out there and ask for what you need help with or have questions about.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
And even if you don't know, right, like in terms of what I just talked about, your coordinator can actually help you kind of piece that information together and help you kind of articulate these things.
A student's also asking, they're considering a reduced course load. How will that affect their graduation date?
Okay, so it may affect your graduation date because it will take you longer, but there's certainly opportunities for you to take extra courses during the spring and summer terms. So that's an option for you to graduate perhaps a little bit closer to your graduation date. But I think you need to remember as a student that university is not a race, university is a marathon. And I commented earlier about looking at, gaining meaningful employment skills as well as learning and developing new abilities as a student. So I think you need to kind of look at the big picture rather than just focusing on graduation date.
Amazing. Okay. Somebody says, I would like to connect with an upper year student to learn about their university experience. What would you recommend?
I think that's probably one of the best way to learn, even though as a coordinator or advisor, we know a lot. Why there's no better way to learn than from learning from another student to student, right? So we do have a mentorship program. It's called the Student Experience Office. They have a mentorship program and you can connect with someone specifically. They try to pair up people in their programs. And I think in the summer, there's also students or departments that reach out to students to answer specific questions. So look at the Student Experience Office in whichever institution that you choose to do or choose to attend. And I know that also in the summer, I had a student this year actually who paired up with a mentor over the summer, and the person was in sciences, and quite frankly, the person did so well and actually didn't end up using a lot of student support services because the mentorship kind of filled that need.
That's amazing. And actually that kind of segues nicely to our future student panel that we'll be having in about 10 minutes or so, right? So they'll get to get an update of like what that's going to look like. I think that's all the time we have for now. Any closing words, Sonia, before we send it off to Patty?
I think overall, plan ahead. Yes, this may bring a lot of uncertainty and perhaps a lot of uneasiness. A transition brings unfamiliarity, but try to approach it with openness. And seeing this as an opportunity can certainly be a great way to approach change and a new journey towards university.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sonia. I know that we also have an orientation video that we did for our event this year that talked a lot about what you were reviewing during your presentation. So students should definitely check that out as well, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Thanks so much, Sonia. Patty, I'm turning it over to you.
Thanks, Amanda. Thanks, Sonia. Just a whole lot of really, really important information for all the kids moving on. Just fantastic. And as you said, plan ahead and stay ahead. So much information for these kids. Also, that wraps up our 3 presenters from the Paul Menton Centre. That's Amanda and Jordan and Sonia. and just imagine when you move on to your post-secondary, if you come across a star like one of those three, they'll really, really help you in your adapting and settling in post-secondary. Okay, so I did want to mention another one of our special students today. This is a student who's from Suburban Borden High School, and the student told me that they're now sponsored by IKEA. Yeah, sponsored by IKEA, which means their assemblies take forever. Thank you very much. And there was a kid at West Carleton that I found out who took the bus home. Get the bus home, but the principal made her take it back. Thank you very much. So listen, in all your planning and all your thinking and all your studying, it's important for you to have a break to lighten up, loosen up, and relax a bit. That's part of what we're doing when I'm with you. Now, what we're going to do is take a 5-minute break. But before we do, I'll let you know, when you come back, we're going to have a special, powerful speaker talk to you. And then we're going to have, as Amanda mentioned, the Student Success Panel. Students from Carleton University who, like yourselves, were in high school 2 or 3 years ago. A couple of them actually attended Make the Cut, and they're going to tell you how they're succeeding.